Disney's Lorcana was revealed last year at D23, and now Lorcana will be available to purchase at GenCon 2023. Over the past year, we have been podcasting about the game we love, and now we are a few hours away from holding Lorcana cards in our hands. Welcome to LorcanaCast. And I won't stop until I start to stand down. Hello, Illumineers, and welcome to LorcanaCast, your Premiere Disney podcast. My name is Sugi, and we're going to have a lot of fun in this episode. We brought Eric from TheGamer.com onto the show to discuss Disney's Lorcana. What are some of our favorite Disney memories? What was the inspiration for Lorcana Week? And what color combinations are we most excited about? Sit back, relax, smash that like and subscribe button, and let's jump into the podcast right now. All right, everybody, welcome to LorcanaCast. We are going to have a super fun time this week. We have a very special guest, the man, the myth, the legend, Eric from TheGamer.com. How are you doing during this evening?
Hey, fellas. I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. We've also got our regular scheduled crew here. We've got Chris Bates. How are you doing?
Hola, I'm awesome.
That's awesome. And then the bearded wonder, Skeffman. How are you?
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
I don't know. Pretty okay.
Wait, is this podcast in Spanish? I don't listen to it.
No.
Ay, Dios mío, lo siento, mi amigo.
No. The worst part is the answer I just made is in Spanish. So no, negative.
Wait, I turned on my SAP. I apologize. I'm back.
Oh.
My SAP button was turned on.
We are reaching to a wider audience.
For sure.
Thank you, Skeff, for that assistance. But we are here to talk about Lorcana because this episode is dropping on Wednesday, the day before GenCon hits. Oh my God. We have waited almost a year for this point, and it is really exciting. I mean, are y'all excited about this as much as I am?
Oh, boy.
I can't even believe it. I was at D23 when the game was ostensibly revealed, and it's so crazy to think, we had 6-7 cards and we didn't even know what they did, trying to guess what the lore pips meant, all that stuff. And now here we are.
Mm.
Yep.
Look at us now.
It's been a long journey of evolution, and some of those guesses were really fun and really wrong.
we got some wrong, though. We got some right.
We did.
We got some right. Most everyone got everything wrong. I mean, we were just guessing. Like, I guess these pips, for one, we thought you could pitch them for mana. That was a fun one.
Yeah.
Well, one thing we did figure out is that we figured out that we knew that the ink meant something, like the swirl meant something versus the one that didn't have the swirl. We knew that much at least.
Yeah, we thought it was color coded. Thank God it's not color coded. That's nice.
At one point we determined, I think we figured out it was gonna be this is some sort of permanent versus non-permanent.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But speculation aside, now is the time. But let's get to know Eric a little bit better. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and TheGamer.com?
My name's Eric. I was raised on a mustard farm, and when I was 7, my dad ran me over with a backhoe.
I feel this is all true.
Sure. The Gamer's a great website, man. It's it's not IGN, it's not Polygon, it's not a household name of video game sites. But we're small and we're mighty. It's pretty new. It was only started in 2017, and it started out as lists, and we just kind of built a small team. I joined to cover, believe it or not, Twitch streamer news, which thank goodness I don't do anymore. No more Logan Paul stories and XQC coverage for me. Luckily,
right.
I get to write about card games. And we just grew and grew. It was just that super organic kind of growth, and I'm really proud of the site we have and the team that we have, and it's a cool website. And part of the reason it's so cool is because we get to do stuff like Lorcana Week, which I don't know how you wouldn't know at this point. I've been on every show in the world, but Lorcana Week it's over now. It's the 7 days leading up to GenCon ish, and we had videos and interviews. We had some exclusives. We had all kinds of features and guides and lists. I think last time I checked, we published almost 80 pieces.
Wow.
During Lorcana Week. Yeah. And, for us, it's kind of, there's two reasons. One is we wanted to celebrate the game and do something really cool for the community, because I've been part of the Lorcana community since the game was revealed. I was like one of the first people on the Discord even. And then secondly, it's just a really great way for us to like show all of the algorithms that we're like the Lorcana video game site. Like if you're going to Google Lorcana, we want you to go to the Gamer to find stuff. And so doing all this like hard work before the game comes out means that hopefully people will come to us for Lorcana.
Yeah, that's really exciting. So you obviously had early access to all this content. So once you had your hands on that stuff, when did you think about, we're going to coin this term Lorcana Week, because it's totally new, it's totally unique, and it really was interesting to watch this like progressionary hype of stuff and news and videos and really unique articles come out over a course of time. Like, was that an organic thought, or did it kind of figure itself out after you started creating, these multiple pieces, and then you decided, why don't we just do it over the course of a week?
Yeah, great question. So we had gotten a few exclusives over the last year. I did like an interview with the narrative designer Samantha McFerrin about the story. And then we also revealed the like animal companions. It was like 6 cards, Iago and Tibbs and that kind of stuff. And then we just kept asking for more and more, like never stopped asking for, can we interview this person? Can we get a quote about this? And I live in Los Angeles, and before I was in game journalism, I was in film. So I have a lot of friends out here. I have a lot of connections to equipment and crews and studios. And what I really wanted more than anything was to get Ryan Miller, the designer, out here so we could shoot some videos. And when we figured out that was a possibility and that they were like actually interested in doing that, I think that was when the whole Lorcana Week started to come together, because I wanted to be able to like shape everything around this video and stock up content for like, a couple months. Like it took us a long time to get 80 pieces together for Lorcana Week. And so, we just thought like, okay, how can we keep making this bigger? How can we keep making this more exciting? And it just kept growing and growing to a point where it wasn't the gamers thing anymore. I mean, like Lorcana Week was, it involved content creators and other websites and reveals like of all kinds. Like it all was built around our Lorcana Week, but it became much bigger than what we were just doing.
Yeah, that's really cool. So as someone who works in TV and film, I work as an editor. Mm-hmm. I know that sometimes things can be staged. So that game you played with Ryan, was that like legit, or was it a little bit kind of, we're going to play and yuck it up to the cameras? Like, could you have beaten him?
So me and Ryan were not playing the same game. My game was, let me show every different kind of card there is so that he can explain what they do. And his game was, I'm going to smash this kid.
Okay.
I love that so much right now.
Yeah, I watched that video and I was
everything about like teaching someone how to play a game.
Yeah, it seemed like Ryan was very anxious to flex a little bit. I was like,
dude,
is this a persona, or is he like actually like trying to take the W?
He was bullying me so hard with evasives in that game, and I was just like, I'm gonna play a song. Let's talk about what songs are. And I'm sure everyone watching that was like, why did he play that? Like, yeah, it looks like I'm misplaying. I know it sounds like I'm trying to save face right now, but I was just like looking at my hand like, what's a card we haven't seen yet? And trying to play it. And he was looking at a hand like, how can I make this guy cry?
Okay.
We're gonna have to question about that in real life.
Did you get a chance to play a real game off screen and tell him what's what?
I didn't, but off screen, I will tell you this. He had a big stack of cards, like as big as your fist. And he said, I just opened 20 packs, and this is what was in them. Go ahead, thumb through them and take whichever one you want. And that was super cool, because we had been playing with the starter decks.
Yeah. And
then he just handed me this giant stack of cards, of random cards from the set. So I'm looking through that like, there's another Emerald Mickey. And they're like, yeah, there's more Mickeys. Like, I'm just going through this stack of cards, looking at all this stuff I'd never seen before.
What'd you take?
What'd you take?
This might be boring, but I picked a foil,
smart
the yellow Mickey, the most basic, like the normal, why can't I think what yellow is?
Oh, amber.
Amber. I picked the amber Mickey, but like a foil one. And I was like, this feels like the beginning of the game. This feels like just pure Lorcana. You know,
smart. Good thing it's foil though. That's smart of you. I mean, that's
yeah.
One less foil you got to
get. Yeah, it looks nice. He's standing in the like great illuminary. You know, it is like behind him, and I was like, yeah, this feels right. This feels like the card I should take. There was way cooler cards in there, but
man, that's really cool.
Yeah, dude, hanging out with him was great. It was really fun. I hope I can do more stuff like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So here's another question we'd love to know more about regarding, your team and TheGamer.com. So now that Lorcana, essentially by the time people are listening, it's come out. We're at GenCon.
Yeah.
Or we're about to get to GenCon. The decks are going to be available for us to start with. And then in a couple of weeks, the FLGS community is going to have access to Lorcana. And then 2 weeks after that, big box stores will have it.
Yeah.
What kind of content are you planning on providing for those new hobbyists and new TCG players who are getting in? Little Timmy and Jimmy who go, "Oh, there's a Disney trading card game! Oh my gosh!" And what's their jumping off point, because they've never played Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh, and they don't know what combo or control means.
Yeah. So I think one of the kind of unique things about our coverage, because Lorcania, Mushu, Dreamborn, all amazing resources that I use all the time. But those are for people that are invested in the game. If you have just heard of Lorcana, I don't think your first stop is Dreamborn.inc. But you might end up on a generic video game website like mine. So a lot of the stuff we do is targeted at people that are just hearing about the game. So we've already got, 24 guides that's just like, what is a challenger? What is Rush? So we do all that kind of stuff to be as base ground level 0 as possible with it. But as a game, once the game comes out, then we'll start actually posting actual deck lists and starting to get more competitive with the type of guides and that kind of stuff.
Okay. Man, that's a really cool resource. So yeah, people who are listening, check it out, use it wisely. So I think another interesting topic to just kind of touch on for a second, you've had experience with trading card games, I would assume, correct?
Yeah, so I've been covering Pokemon for a long time, largely as a collector. I follow the scene. I cover Pokemon Worlds and some tournament stuff, but I've never really played Pokemon other than in the app, the digital version.
Gotcha. Can you share a little bit of wisdom in regards to the trading card game scene, where casual players are actually the largest group of players versus the competitive people? So for example, like you were mentioning, people who know about Lorcania and Mushu and Dreamborn, all that stuff, technically we're really in the minority compared to the average player who plays at home with family or friend, or just on the coffee table with a partner or loved one. And that's kind of what you're focused on, is the larger player base of Lorcana, not just the specific niche of, tournament player or collector.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, we're talking pre-launch right now, and we are so niche. We are our community is 1,000 strong, certainly, but there is so little exposure for this game. And that's part of Ravensburger's marketing plan or whatever. They want to get this game exposed through seeing it on shelves at Walmart or whatever. But people outside of our group of hardcore Disney and TCG players don't know this game exists. But that's something we are really good at. We can get the game in front of faces, and we already have evidence that that's successful because we have analytics for our stuff. And of all of our Lorcana Week stuff, by far, other than the here's every card, the visual spoiler kind of thing, by far the most successful piece of the entire week was how Disney Lorcana became my first TCG. It's something our editor-in-chief wrote. And I did exclusive interviews. We had videos with designers. We had deep deep dives into stuff, but the one that got really broad appeal was just like how this new game was interesting to me as a person that doesn't play TCGs. And that's really cool. I think that's awesome. It's awesome for us, but it's awesome for the game too. Like, it means that the game is getting exposed to people that didn't know about it.
Right. And that's where the lifeblood of any game really lies, is that exposure to new players, new family, new friends, because then they'll tell their friends and there's this massive ripple effect, right?
Yeah, I mean, we hope so. Like, we're talking currently in the bubble. It's hard to imagine this game not exploding into the mainstream, but it hasn't proven out that way yet. So things like, getting tons and tons of eyes on that one new player piece is like our first rumblings, our first sign that we're like reaching outside of the community. And I think that's pretty exciting.
Awesome. Well, we'll definitely keep an eye on what you guys have in store. Do you have any hints or advance things you can talk about that might be coming up on the website soon that we could anticipate, perchance?
Sure. I can talk a little bit. So there's some things in the works that didn't make it into Lorcana Week. Just logistically, it couldn't happen, but there are things that are still happening. So there are at least 3 interviews that didn't make it into Lorcana Week that are still in the pipe. That I'm pretty excited about. And then I think everybody wants to know about GenCon promo, right? That's the big question right now. I will tell you. I'm not going to tell you today. Sorry, I made it sound like I was about to say it.
That was really good.
I literally made it sound like I was
really
about to say it.
This is going to air after.
No, this is airing the day before. This
is airing the day before.
You got me. Yeah,
you got us.
The gamer is gonna help you out with that, so I'm really excited that we're gonna have those details. Yeah.
Okay, I'm assuming that will have been revealed before this episode drops.
No comment.
Interesting. Okay, that'll be fun. Okay, all right. Well, then let's move along to a more fun and less controversial topic. Wink, wink. And let's talk a little bit about the thing that brings everyone together. And this is probably one of my favorite things about Lorcana, and that is actually Disney as a brand and an IP. So regardless of the trading card game and the market value and all the crazy stuff that's going on, everybody has a favorite Disney memory. There's something that is instilled in your brain that is so powerful that you just will never forget it. So I'd love to hear, everyone can go in whatever order they want, but I'd love to hear what one of your favorite Disney memories is. It can be something that happened at like a theme park, a movie, a memory with a family member, a loved one, spouse, whatever. But like, what is one of your strongest connections and memories to Disney?
I'll go first. Before last year, my strongest memory was watching The Lion King in the movie theater when I was, I don't know, I'm guessing, would it come out like 93? I'm guessing I was 10 or something like that, 10 or 11. And I remember that just being a movie I really connected with. Like the music was great. The story was awesome. His dad dying was super like sad. I'm sorry, spoilers.
Spoilers.
Yeah, sorry. 30-year spoilers. Or so sorry about that. So before that was my memory before last year when I got to take my 9-year-old to Disney World in Anaheim. And that was just
Disneyland.
I'm sorry, whatever. My bad. Disneyland.
Oh, that's important, man.
My bad. So we went to Disneyland, went to California, with my wife and my daughter. She's 9 years old. And it was just like the most perfect time to take a kid to Disneyland, right? Disneyland. And she had a blast. And like, I had a blast. I thought I'd be like, we spent like way too much money, and I thought I'd be bored, and I thought it wouldn't be anything there for me, but I had an amazing time, obviously, with all the Star Wars stuff. And now that's just something my kids still talk about, a year and a half later almost. So she's still talking about how excited it is and how much fun she had on our trip there. So that's my memory now.
Oh, that's really sweet.
That's cool. Skeff, what's your favorite memory, my brother?
That is a phenomenal question. There is almost too many good memories to choose, but I think the one memory is that when I was like little, so no beard, after school, the go-to movie was always Hercules. Like after school, I remember that was just like the movie you just pop in And I'm just like, it was just like, it just had all the good feels, like great soundtrack, great villain, like the animation was phenomenal. Like that for me is like the Hercules movie is like one that just like of all the Disney ones, like that's the one that's probably my favorite of the bunch. But yeah, just watching that movie when I was a wee little lad and like not a care in the world, like I'm gonna pop in Hercules and sing all the songs.
My first movie, like period, I ever saw was Aladdin. And I have such vivid memories of that experience. Like I remember the theater, the parking lot, walking into it, the cracks in the cement filled in with, that sticky black tar that they repair old parking lots with. Like I remember that whole day and the movie and everything. And I always have, and I've always said that was the first movie I ever saw. And then one time somebody asked me how old I was, and I had to look it up, and it turns out I was barely 2. I had just turned 2. And it seems like there's no way I should be able to remember so vividly a memory from being 2 years old. But I totally do. And I just feel like that experience shapes so much of not just my like lifelong passion for Disney stuff, but my love for film too. Because that was just like such a impactful experience. So Aladdin maybe hasn't aged as well as some of the other Disney movies. Hasn't aged the worst. Pocahontas.
Williams. Oh, amazing.
Oh man, Song of the South. Oh,
yeah. I mean, there's some problematic stuff, even in the '90s Disney, but we'll always have a place in my heart for sure.
Yeah. I remember that on Betamax. I'm that old.
Eric, I thought you were going to talk about the Goofy movie because you said like I saw your article.
I was hoping
you bring up the Goofy because I also love the Goofy movie. But
I love that movie.
That movie made me cry when I
remember seeing that one in the theaters. We're all old enough to remember that.
Yeah.
I'm not that old.
The Goofy movie is so poignant and uncomplicated. It's just such a beautiful movie about like familiar relationships and like the fear of becoming your parents, and it does it all in an hour and 10 minutes. It's like
hear that movie theaters, it doesn't need to be 3 hours long.
It's such a nice little package.
And the story about
Powerline, right?
Powerline. Yeah,
and it's
so good.
Not Michael Jackson.
Even of how the movie was created. Like that's if you ever have time, you guys should look up the story of how that movie got greenlit and like how it was created and who made it. Because that's even a great backstory to
I'll have to look that up.
Okay, I don't know about that.
It's very good. It's really good.
It from a cultural perspective, it was like the guy that got it made was an African American guy working for Disney. He's one of the first guys that got high up in Disney, and so how he got it greenlit and how he got it approved is a very interesting story. So
that's so cool.
Yeah,
I mean that was one of my gateways into like Michael Jackson because as a kid it's like I'd heard him before. And then I watched that movie. My parents like, that's like, kind of built around. I was like, no, like here, listen to this. And of course my parents were old enough to have like old LPs. And so they play a record. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. So like just all this musical interest and intrigue just exploded from that movie. So that's a fun memory. I like the movie, but my musical criteria and palette completely shifted after that film. It's like, whew, fun.
Yeah, dude. The teenage fantasy of that movie, just like just
Roxanne!
Like you're on stage with the rock star impressing the girl of your dreams. Oh man.
That scene in the gym
is the greatest cast.
It's still one of my favorite things to watch. It's so fun.
That ending, yes. That ending is phenomenal.
In the beginning.
The science slumber parties, and they just drop him and like, oh, this is gonna be fun.
How about science slumber parties? What? Hey! I'm not gonna get.
Oh, and he is stunting on him too.
Yeah,
he is
I just
so
remember
cool.
It was so weird because in the movie theater, I remember being around a bunch of other kids, and in the film, the high schoolers were like, "Oh, hey, something interesting is about to happen." And in the movie theater, we had the exact same expression, like, "What is happening?" You start to see, you hear the beat, you start to see that screen roll up. It's like, "Oh my god, this is like super exciting!" And then that scene happens, you just feel like you're in that room watching Max. I'm like. You don't get that emotion very frequently, but it's cool. It's a really cool scene.
Good. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It feels great.
Yeah, I still get goosebumps thinking about that because I don't remember many other films where everyone in that room was like, what is about to happen? We just saw the principal and his toupee get nuked off of that stage.
Yeah, it was the Avengers Endgame of our time, everybody.
You're not wrong. You're actually not wrong.
I didn't mean to start this. I mean, I'm happy we got here, but wow, I didn't realize we were going to go this deep on the Goofy movie. This is great.
It's one of my favorite movies. It is one of the best Disney movies of all time.
So we all agree that we want some cards there, like Powerline for the second season of Lorcana.
They better let me reveal
Powerline doesn't
They
have
dang well
strong
better.
power. I'll be disappointed in Lorcana.
Okay. Here's a great question. Is it Stand Out or Eye to Eye that gets the first song?
Oh,
It's
that gets
Eye
the
to
first
Eye.
song?
It's Eye to Eye.
Yeah, it's eye to eye. Yeah.
Well, they'll probably both come out in a certain set, but let's be honest, it's probably one. Because if
Eye
you
to
look
Eye.
at the songs so far, there's only like one from each franchise. We
Yeah.
haven't seen like a double.
yeah.
So Eye to Eye or Stand Out?
I think
No,
eye
to
to eye makes it, to me, it sounds like forcing Reckless, like you're going eye to eye with me.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I like
and then
that.
Stand Out sounds like readying
Ooh.
one of your characters, making them stand.
Ooh.
Give your opponent
Okay.
all your opponent's characters reckless or something like that.
Oh, don't. Ooh, that's a dirty word. Ooh,
That'd
that's
be
nasty.
interesting.
You can't
Ooh.
quest. Enjoy your
Kevin-
quest.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
Try
Tevin
not
Campbell-
playing the game, nerd. Okay, another question. What color would the songs be in? So Eye to Eye is a color and Stand Out is a color.
Amber, whichever one Amber is.
Both? No, not both of them. One of them, maybe?
One would be red and one
Well,
would be amber.
eye to eye would be red.
Yeah, it'd be red and amber. Those would be two colors because it matches his outfit.
Man, your
it was
logic.
green, they were green and blue. It was. They were. I'm looking at the video right now. They were wearing green and blue.
Wait a minute.
Does
Yellow. I thought it was like
Amber-
yellow for power, for electricity.
Does Amber have the most song identity of all the colors?
I think
I
so.
think
It has
so,
Ariel.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Ariel and Sebastian. The
Well,
Journey
they
of
just
King
have a
Crab.
lot of songs. I feel like Stand Out could be in Amethyst, in purple.
Powerline is wearing yellow.
But
you're right.
Powerland seems like an Amber character.
Yeah, he's definitely
wearing yellow.
Amber.
Yeah, he's definitely Amber. Yeah, he's wearing yellow.
Well, it's just the personality too, right?
Yeah.
Amber's
Maybe.
like the brave and bold. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, now I want
Plus
to know.
Rockstar Stitch goes right with him.
Yeah,
Right.
no.
That's good. That's true.
Ooh.
That's true.
All right, Ravensburger, please give us an alternate art of Stitch in a Powerline costume. Rockstar
Dude.
Stitch.
Dude, I have that on my wall right now. I have Stitch in a Powerline. Oh my god!
Wait,
I wish
seriously?
I had video. Yeah, I do.
Oh, hey, where'd you find that?
I found it at Comic-Con last weekend.
That's awesome.
It's a guy.
Oh, is
I'll
it
give a plug.
custom piece?
Were you at
Okay,
San
Yeah.
Diego?
I was in San Diego. Yeah, let me give a plug to
I
Stitch
was also
Tunes.
at San Diego Comic Con.
Were you? Oh, yeah. That was. I
I
had a
was
great
working
time.
on Artist Alley.
StitchTunes.com.
Stitch.com.
He does Stitch as every character you could ever imagine, not just Disney characters, like everyone.
Batman?
Yeah, everyone.
Ooh, okay. Can I get this on a t-shirt?
Maybe he does T-shirts. I
Oh,
don't know.
wow.
It's good. It's good stuff.
Oh, you just sent me a picture. Okay, I'll send this out to the group. That's so cool.
Etsy store. It's an Etsy store.
Okay. I'm down for this.
How does he
This
do
is
that?
what Robin-
Does he get he must have a license from Disney, right?
He's a Disney artist.
Oh,
Yeah, you could do things if you work for the company. That's pretty cool. That's cool. Oh, I see some Warhammer pins and things. Anyways, we're getting way off topic.
oh, I think this show is turning the best show ever with talking.
this is I see.
Ravensburger, we also want reveals of the Powerline and Eye to Eye card.
So good. So good.
Oh, pin collecting. We could talk about
drop
that.
for those cards.
That would be fun. Oh man, Goofy movie. Please make it happen. if they could do Musketeers, which was a Nicktoons, they could definitely do Goofy movie.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes.
I want Lester's Possum Farm as an item.
Oh man, no.
I also like your
Tears.
colleague Eric. Your
Too much
colleague
emotions.
on that same article picked Samuel Jackson as who they want to be a part of. I thought that was great.
I need that girl who smiles at Max with the one missing tooth and the big glasses. That'll give Reckless to anything.
Who's your
That'll be like,
favorite possum?
Oh, sadness. I want the Sasquatch. I want Sasquatch. From the
Oh,
Goofy movie
Sasquatch doing the
with
dance.
just holding a can of soup.
Hi Dad Soup could be an
Hi
item.
Dad soup. That would be a great item.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
What would it do?
Tears.
I guess it probably heals you something.
The soup or Sasquatch?
No, the Hi Dad soup. Yeah, you
Oh,
The
tap
soup will
it.
totally heal you. Yeah.
You have 2 or 3 damage.
Dude,
Okay,
this
so
is
you-
fun. Let's just make up cards all day.
Yeah. We do a lot of that. Sugi, what's your favorite Disney memory?
So one of my favorite Disney memories actually is in the parks. So I'm old enough to remember we lived in LA and we went to Disneyland frequently because it was dirt cheap. Like, man, $10 a person. It was really expensive, and you could get an annual pass for nothing. So I actually remember when the Indiana Jones attraction came out at the Disneyland park, and I was like teenager-ish, and like I knew of Indiana Jones, but I wasn't like a hardcore fan. So my dad busted out his old VHS set with all 3 movies, and so the week before we had movie night. And so, of course, I get to stay up late, and we would have popcorn and pizza, and we would watch, Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I'm like, whoa, that's really cool. He's like, okay, check this out. And then we watch Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom. I'm like, whoa, that's awesome. He's like, no, wait, there's one more. I'm like, no way. So we watched Last Crusade. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then they're like, oh, by the way, we have tickets to go to the theme parks on opening week for Indiana Jones. I'm like, because, at that point they were doing the Sunday night Disney movies.
Mm-hmm.
And so living in California, when they would go to commercials, they were just hyping up this new Indiana Jones attraction like crazy. It's like, Indiana Jones is coming to California. You can ride this new ride. And of course, as a kid, I'm like, oh, I'll get to see that eventually whenever. We're probably not going to go. And they're like, no, we're going to go like the 3rd day after it opens. And I remember waiting for like 15 hours to ride like one ride. And it still is one of my most favorite attractions of all time. It's just like the lead up through the films, being there opening week, waiting in a hot summer sunny day, and then getting to ride it is just this like ethereal memory of just epicness. And I love it so much. It's awesome.
Ride.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, Disney is a really cool thing. Every single person has a unique connection to it, and we'd love to hear what yours is. So make sure to post in the comments one of your favorite memories, wherever it is, whenever it is, just that thing that connects you to that really special memory that you hold close to your heart. But speaking of really fun cars and things we've been designing, let's shift to our next topic and talk about our favorite Lorcana color combinations. Now, this is not predicated on meta or power level or anything particular. This is just, I like X and I like Y because I do. And I would love to hear your colors and your thoughts behind it because, talking earlier, we were speaking about casual players. Most of them don't know what meta means. They don't really care what a combo deck does, but they're going to look and see, oh, I like Aladdin, he's a red character, and I like Simba and Mufasa, and they're in blue and gray, and like, okay, how am I going to put these together in a fun new deck? So what are some of your favorite characters? Chris Bates, why don't you start us off here?
Sure. Again, haven't played the game yet. Been trying to save it to actually have it in my hands. But, with us talking lately about all the different cards and seeing all the full card list revealed, I'm really drawn towards Emerald and Ruby. Again, just like a ton of disruption there, especially messing with lore and messing with the win condition of the game, which really is cool to me. So I really want to focus on, that and cards like Aladdin, cards like the action cards, like now I'm forgetting the name of the one that for every time you could challenge that turn or quest that turn, the other person loses the lore.
Steal from the Rich.
That looks really cool. Emerald card. So like stuff like that, right? Is really, really intriguing to me.
Okay. So what would, if you were to build a deck, what would some of the cards be that you put in it? And would you choose cards based on like IP, branding, just favorite memories, or would it be like based around a certain strategy?
Yeah, the strategy of taking lore away from my opponent.
Oh,
so again, like
bully. Yeah.
I mean, like where the start. I mean, there's a starter deck in Ruby and Emerald, which I think is a good start for that, right? So you have, it has, I believe the starter deck has Steal from the Rich in it. It has Aladdin in it, so it has a lot of things.
Let's ask Eric. Is that deck any good, Eric? On your personal opinion, what do you think about the Emerald Ruby starter deck?
That deck is the worst.
Really?
No. I don't think it's the worst.
Absolute.
I think
this is the gamer.com official.
I thought we were talking about power
So-
level, man. Why am I getting beat up on it?
Because you're the one who wants to bully. You're like, I'm going to steal lore from other people. And watch
I'm
them.
going to make children cry, Chris. Is basically what you said out loud.
It's an interesting mechanic to me. I can't nail people yet. I can't take the cards out of their hand yet. So,
He said, I will find other ways to make children cry.
right, exactly.
See, he agrees.
I think
Case
that deck
closed.
is super fun. I think that deck is super fun to play. I just think it needs a lot more help than the other
Sure.
two decks do.
Okay, that's fair. But it's a start.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like, at least again, from I'm not Sugi, who's playing a million games of this and been playing all, whatever. Like, it seems like
Don't judge me.
all the starter decks seem like a good skeleton
Yeah.
to leading into the full game, right? Which is like what you want for starter decks. You want to just take your starter deck and add some cards to it, right? You don't want, like, I mean, I love Flesh and Blood a lot. I mean, one of my favorite games ever. But their starter decks are bad. Like, they're very underpowered. They don't really demonstrate the characters, because in Flesh and Blood you need special, like, legendary cards, all this kind of stuff to really get to fill up a character. So you don't have that problem in Lorcana, which I think is awesome. I think, again, this should be my first CCG. My first, I hope my daughter, who's now 10, going to be 10, is going to really love this game and want to play with me. So
Yeah.
that's what I want.
You get some really clutch cards in that deck too. You get Heroic Outlaw Aladdin.
Yeah.
You get some evasives in there.
Yeah.
So, like, stuff that's going to be really useful as you grow and build new decks.
I hope that's the deck I get for my GenCon. I mean, even if it's underpowered, maybe I'll open my booster pack up and I'll get all the cards I need.
No, it's a good deck. You just have to know how to use the tools given. It's complicated.
Yeah, it is complicated. Yeah.
Of the three, it is very complex because you have all the answers, but you don't know what the questions are yet. So it's like, which of these do I keep? Which do I mulligan?
That's why I just need mill. I need mill or discard to come in the game.
You want to play steel. If you want to play mill, yeah, go with infinite recursion loops on New World. Just bring 68 cards in your deck. No one will ever know. That's how you do it. All right, Mr. Bearded Man, what are your two color combinations?
I'm gonna basically just go. I can pick any color. It doesn't have to be a starter deck, right?
Yeah, no, any color combinations.
I'm gonna basically go with the two that I liked since the very beginning, and you get Sugi and Chris can attest to this. Like, I really enjoyed purple, and I like the power of steel, and I'm just gonna continue with those two as like the two favorites of like shenanigans that it can possibly do in a game. But yeah, purple and steel, I still very much enjoy the cards. The combos are fun, but I do enjoy the power and then like the kind of manipulation that purple has. But no, I'm still gonna go with those two, the purple and steel.
What are some of the cards you want to throw into that deck, my friend?
Oh, I mean, like the baby Mal and the friends on the other side. Then you obviously then you have the big hitters for steel, like Maui and Simba, Mufasa.
Good Lord.
Right? It's just like, but it's just the shenanigans. Like, I wouldn't like, it'd be more of a, I guess, like, I don't know, Mickey, Brooms. But then you get like the cannons and Smash. It's just like, how much havoc can I create on one board? Oh, and then obviously the Tinkerbell with grab your swords and things like that. So it's just like, how much havoc can I create in one board state?
Just chaos.
Yeah,
Pure
basically.
chaos.
That's how I live my life.
Gross. I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm still gonna go with purple and steel from when I first the first deck I ever kind of put together to now. Where like I mean I like blue a lot and amber. Like, they're all great. I like them all a lot now, more equally. But I'm just still go with the first two that I picked. Where I'm like, I still really like these colors.
Okay. All right, Eric. What are your two colors of choice?
Can I be greedy and do two? Can I do two for you?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So first of all, just thematically, so I wrote a piece for Lorcana Week. I think it was called like the first chapter belongs to the villains, because it's Ravensburger, right? It's the Disney villainous company, and they know their villains, man. And you can see it in this first set. They are just so deliciously evil. They had so much fun with these bad guys. And I think a villain deck is a super fun thing to do. So your best colors for that, if you ask me, is Amber Amethyst. And you definitely want to build around like Hades, King of Olympus, right? So you can get the whole Facilier package in there. You can get the multiple Hades in there. Jafar's, Ursula's, like it all fits in Amber Amethyst. There's Baby Maleficent too. So I really like, I don't know if it's any good, but
That's a spicy list. Yeah.
I really like a villain deck. And then, but for something a little more competitive, I know we're just like having fun here, but you guys have like the best analysis. Like, you guys really know your stuff. So I just want to throw this at you. When I look at all the cards, I always get hung up scrolling through Emerald. Like, how are there so many good cards in here? I'm just like going through the list, like Flynn Rider, amazing.
It's crazy, yeah.
Jasper, Cusco, Mad Hatter, Genie on the Job, Mother Gothel. I'm like, how are all these cards are all nuts, dude? I have to play these. So I really like putting Emerald together with Steel, because if that wasn't enough like crazy board control for you, then you get like Tinkerbell in there, you get like the Captain Hook Floodborne package in there, and it just feels mean. It is just so like fun police. Nobody's allowed to do anything. Like, discard your card.
Like
nope, put that one back in your hand. Like, nope. You're not allowed to play the game. Oh, man.
Like, you want to do that? You can't do that.
You can't do
I call it my control deck. Whatever I figure out with Emerald, the fun.
If you attack this character, you just lose.
Thanks to Eric.
What, am I onto something? Is Emerald Steel like just a real oppressive, real strong deck?
Yeah, because you could do a mill deck, you could do a quest control, you could do a lockout, you could do hand lock. There's so many evil things you can do. Oh yeah. You're onto something. Yes.
I love that. If you guys want to be mean to your friends, Emerald Steel is the play.
Yep. Oh yeah.
That sounds
Absolutely
fun. Maybe I'll switch over.
Come to the dark side.
Well, don't do it to me, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the stipulation. Do it to everyone else, but
me.
Listen, you created this monster. You have to deal with it, frankly.
You made it sound really intriguing, honestly.
Yeah, watch the first couple like months of meta. This game sucks. I can't play anything because of Emerald. That one
the fun police deck.
The fun police deck. It's not fun, man.
I mean, control is always control in a limited format, right? Like that's always rough. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't say limited, but control in a smaller set. Until you get more cards out there that could deal with a lot of the control elements.
So I'm like a big Hearthstone dude. That was like my game forever.
Ooh, okay.
And so control is like Warrior. Yeah. And everybody hates it. It makes games last an hour. It's miserable, dude. I don't want to play it. I don't want to play against it. It is like so unfun. But I think so far with just this first set, I don't think control in Lorcana turns games into slogs that never end.
Okay.
No.
Like it doesn't feel like it meaningfully extends the game to like an unfun degree.
Right. We've also noticed in testing that control has a really bad matchup into big body ramp, because the moment they start getting those massive bodies on the field, it's like, hey, look, Jasper stopped you from questing. Yeah, cool. I'm just gonna bonk you with my Simba.
Yeah.
You're like,
I'm
wait,
just gonna murder everyone.
Yeah, I guess my Taka just killed you and I gained 2 lore. Wait,
eats all your opponent's creatures.
Yeah, it's like, I quested my Mother Gothel. Yeah, Maui will just slap her into the ground.
Yeah.
What? Help!
That's really interesting, because in the starter decks have like a rock paper scissors quality.
Oh yes, they do.
And the control-ish deck, the Emerald Ruby, is the one that beats Steel Sapphire.
Okay,
right, but they don't have enough consistent tools to get through the control wall.
Yeah,
but if you build the ramp package to get to like big bodies on turn 5 and higher, like 4/6 Mufasa is no joke, because he kills everything Emerald has.
Yeah,
and then it's just like, I guess I quest for 3 casually.
right.
And you're like, well, all my creatures are dead, and I have help. Yeah, it's an interesting like rock paper scissors lizard Spock scenario, because
for sure.
I don't think there is the deck. A lot of people have been asking, is there a BDIF like best deck in format? And it's like there's decks that pair well against X, but then they lose to Y, but then Y loses to Z. So not really.
Which is what you want. That's the format you want, right?
Yeah. That's why I love Lorcana. Everyone's trying to find the BDIF, and I'm like, we've built like 6 or 7 decks everyone's playing with already. They all have bad matchups, very critically bad matchups.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm all on Emerald Steel. There's a lot. Like, I've built a mill deck. It's not very good, but if it goes off, like you have no nothing. It's awesome. But
you're just like rolling whole new worlds over and over.
Yeah, so you use Lady Tremaine and do it again, and you just keep replenishing the cards. and you keep recycling over and over and over and over and over. But because you put 68 cards in your deck, your opponent will lose to mill if you can do it fast enough. But all you're doing is ramping towards that. Like, your only goal is keep their board clear with like removal spells, and then just cycle, do it again, Lady Tremaine, and draw new cards. Like, that's it.
That's so funny.
You lose pretty automatically to aggro. Like, if there's a Stitch Rush, you're like, well, game 14, I guess I might win because they just drew bad, I guess, maybe.
Right.
But like slow decks, you ruin their day. Ramp decks actually hurt a lot too, because if they can't get access to their big bodies because they're in the discard pile, it's like, oh, I guess I'll play my 4th Mickey Detective and do nothing. Pass. So it's a feel hilarious moment.
I gotta try that.
I'll send you a deck list you might like. The one deck I want to try and break, because I think it'll be hilarious, is the OTK aerial combo deck. Where the combination is you use Eye of the Fates to give a aerial 2 lore. If you can get 2 of them out, you have 2 aerials that quest for 2 lore, and you have Maurice on the board. This is obviously like, because combos are combo, you have to have like this perfect setup. But you have 2 aerials, 2 Eye of Fates. You tap the Eyes of Fates. Both aerials will quest permanently for 2. Then you just start playing 1-drops. They untap, you quest again. You play a 1-drop, you untap, they quest again. And then Maurice allows you to draw a card every time you play an item. So you just keep replenishing your hand with more things. And if you get the nuts, you can OTK your opponent with 5 quests.
Wow.
5 times 2. No, 10. You have to do it 10 times. But I mean, you're kind of leading up to getting some lore at that point. So normally you're sitting at like maybe 8-ish lore. So you only have to tap the aerial a few times and it's game over. Because you go from 8 to 12, 12 to 16, 16 to 20. So you only have to do it 3 times if you're getting 2 lore out of each of them.
Yeah, but you got to get a lot of the right cards in your hand to do that.
Yeah. It's a combo deck. You're hoping for the best, but you can kind of dump your hand out pretty quickly with a ramp package and then use New World to replenish your hand. And that way you can get a lot of ink on the board. That way you can play your Maurices, you can play your aerials and your Fates, play New World again. And now you've got 7 cards in your hand. Hopefully you have 3 items, and then you just go, cool, tap and tap, tap and tap, tap and tap, tap and tap. And then if you have Maurice, you can tap him for 2. So it extends your reach even faster. So yeah, you can do you can kind of go from 0 to 60 very quickly with the right combo.
Cool. That sounds fun.
Yeah. Not for your opponent though. They get to watch. Think about that, Ravensburger. So anyways, oh man, this has been just such a fun show. I'm really, really excited to meet all of y'all me too. In person.
I've met you before, Sugi.
Well, okay.
I've also known you for years.
I know what you mean.
I haven't seen you guys in a while. I've never met Eric, so it'll be nice to meet him in person, I guess. Change my statement.
If we can even find Eric.
I'm upset. I don't want to meet Chris and Jay, all these Skeff people. I've seen them before. Blech.
I'm working, like I'm covering Lorcana stuff there, but like I'm mostly just hanging out.
Nice.
I'm mostly just there to meet everybody and have fun.
Nice.
Are you going to check out Star Wars Unlimited?
You know.
Uh-oh.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm getting the promo. I'll go get the promo, but I'm not holding my breath for any of that. Yeah.
I don't want to make a bunch of enemies, but I'm not a big Star Wars fan.
Ooh.
Like in general?
Yeah, just like I don't think it's very good.
What?
Like
the new
stuff, or you like the Return of the Jedi and like Empire?
I'll tell you what I like. I like the Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Pretty good. And End of List.
You like the video game? You don't like the movies?
Oh! I like the new Squadrons. Oh man, that game is good.
Yeah, Squadrons is good. Yeah.
But like, so you're saying like the lore of like Star Wars and the movies and stuff? They don't even get into that.
Nah.
What do you like?
That's
I like
interesting.
What movies
Destiny.
do you like?
Ooh, I like Destiny. Destiny's better than Star Wars.
Whoa.
If it's space
takes.
magic you want, it's Destiny for me, baby.
Oh,
Let's go.
Wow. This is a strong take, man. This is really
yeah.
strong.
No,
Very
I'm
wrong,
the
but-
only one. I'm the only one that's you all like Star Wars. I get it. But also
Star Trek? What's your thoughts on Star Trek?
Yeah, Star Trek's cool. Yeah, I like Star Trek.
Okay,
I think
okay.
that card game I think is ugly also.
The art's terrible.
No, I agree. I don't love the art that much.
Art is so inconsistent. It's bad. I mean, there is a few pieces of nice art, but like overall, it's bad.
It looks too cartoony, like inky, heavy.
Not into it.
Okay, that's fair.
They should
It ain't Lorcana.
No, for sure.
It is not Lorcana. Well, it's really odd. There are some like striking similarities. Like you can play cards from your hand into your resource zone. Where have I seen that before?
Well, a lot of games, but like I think that they also both. The thing I like about Lorcana is again, it's coming out as this is what it is. It's a simple-ish card game, which again we talk about the complexity. There's some complex decisions going on, but again, this is aimed more towards your first TCG, right? And Star Wars Unlimited.
Are you talking about Star Wars Unlimited or
no?
Lorcana?
I'm talking about Lorcana.
Oh, okay.
But I also think, in reality, if you look at the rule set of Star Wars Unlimited, it's not a complicated game. But but the thing I don't like about Fantasy Flight is like they try to make it seem like it is a gamer's game, right? They try to make it seem like it's more complicated than it really is. But in reality, I think the complexity level of both these games is very similar. And so, like, I don't know, like, why you would choose Unlimited over Lorcana. I don't get it. Like,
no, I don't think
unless
it's a
you're like a
comparison.
Star Wars stan. Yeah. Well, I mean, they're obviously they have different rules, but like on the complexity level, they are very similar.
Maybe because someone can buy Unlimited where no one can really buy a Lorcana.
Ouch. Oh,
man.
There we go. There we go.
Right now.
The real issue
right now.
You're right, man. I mean, I don't know. That's not the topic of our show, but like that's obviously be a problem for the game. If we can't get the game in people's hands, that's a problem for any of these types of games, right?
Yeah, that's true.
People lose interest. If you can't get the cards, it's going to be hard to stay interested in playing the game.
I hope that's not a problem. I really do. I would hate to see Lorcana DOA because of distribution issues.
Right.
We're going to find out in 2 weeks.
We're about to find out in 2 weeks. Yeah, you're not wrong.
I'm worried. I'm definitely worried.
And then they have the big box release too. So it's like, I just don't know. I mean, even if they underestimated totally like the demand for the game, like what does it mean? Like to be selling in big box stores, you would think that it just has to be a good amount they're going to get out there, right?
Did you guys see the list of big box stores that are being supported?
Yeah.
Like 7 of them, right?
God. It's Target, Walmart, Best Buy, Amazon, FYE, Hot Topic, Shop Disney, and Disney Store.
So
was it GameStop on that list
exists?
too?
It was
GameStop
in Canada, right? I think GameStop's Canada.
FYE is a thing?
FYE apparently still exists. Yeah.
I'm gonna call. I have an FYE here in town. I'm gonna call them and see.
I was gonna say, someone call your local Toys R Us and FAO Shorts. Ask if they're carrying Lorcana.
I've never played a card game that gets released at big box games stores or big box stores. So
You never played Keyforge?
I mean, not really.
Oh,
Keyforge
or the Dice Masters?
No,
You play Dice Masters?
Yeah, I guess. Okay, fine. You guys are okay. Fine, whatever.
We were right, Chris. We know you. It's like we don't know you or something.
My main games were never released at like a big box.
I feel like you guys need to lay off Chris a little bit. Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Fair enough.
So my point of bringing that up was like, what, like, do we have any thought about, does that mean that, do we have any confidence that being released at big box stores will increase availability at all?
Dude, it's going to be ridiculous. I'm telling, please trust me. September 1st, you're going to walk into a Walmart and see an entire aile filled. I'm serious. It's going to be.
Good.
I'm going to call you I'm going to text you on September 1st of my Walmart. It'll be just empty shelves and just a sad emoji of a bearded man.
Eric from the Gamer said we're good. Eric from the Gamer says we're all good, everybody. I'm going
to show up at noon at my Walmart and just nothing but empty shelves. I was lied to.
I'm kind of excited to take one of my nieces or nephews to like a GameStop and show them like, hey, you can get Lorcana like right here down the street.
That's what
from
they
your
want.
house. Yeah,
that's what they want. Yeah, the 18th to the 1st is going to be high anxiety, very stressful. Yeah. Everybody's going to be like side eyeing those $350 booster boxes, thinking, "What if?"
Don't do it.
But September 1st, the game's going to change. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I like that.
Right. I'm excited to see what happens.
Well, it is exciting in an awkward way because like going back to that demographic we were talking about, we, the people recording this episode, probably most of the people listening to this specific episode are not the demographic. It's Timmy and Jimmy and Uncle, Pete who go to GameStop and it's like, hey, look, there's some kind of like Disney trading card game and there's like some starter decks. I guess we could, buy them and take them home. Or some GameStops now have kind of retooled themselves where there's tables and chairs where you can play card games or like Dungeons and Dragons. So like you could potentially buy it and like crack it open and play there in the GameStop, which is really cool if you think about it.
Yep. And the whole everything's built around multiplayer from the very beginning. They didn't want to do anything that didn't work for multiplayer because they want mom and dad playing with their kids, because they want women and mothers to be playing this TCG.
That's great.
And it's probably going to work.
And I will just say, again, we've talked about this before in the past podcast, like the majority of the money they're going to earn is not from people like us, right? The majority of the money the people buying this game is going to be people picking it up randomly at Target, randomly seeing a pack or whatever. That's going to be the majority of who buys this game over the long term, even like for games like Fantasy Flight games, whatever. Like the casual gamers are where you make your money at. So it has to appeal. That like you're saying, Eric, that shelf presence, being able to see it there, having it available to pick up at the checkout aisle is really important for a game like this.
That is the marketing play, because like at the end of the day, the people going to video game sites are not that different from the people hanging out in the Lorcana HQ Discord already. The only way they're going to hit critical mass is if they just wallpaper Target. Is if it's just like at every store you can imagine, including FYE, as apparently those still exist.
I don't know where my FYE is, but
it's like the
one in Indianapolis, I think.
Do you really?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to it. I'm gonna call them on Monday.
Gosh.
Are you getting this game in? Can I pre-order a box?
Well, big stores don't pre-order, do they? I don't know.
No. They're not going to carry booster boxes. That's FLGS.
Right.
So you can't. They get a big box store. You can't go buy a whole box.
You might be able to. You might be able to if you're like a Target Red. Sometimes you can get those on Target's website.
Okay.
And then they're
not
selling.
On the shelf. Not
on the shelf, no. But they're gonna. Ravensburger's selling direct on Amazon, so there's a chance.
That should be big. Yeah, that should be huge.
Shop Disney should have booster boxes as well.
I think that's probably true, yeah.
If you walk into, say, like Barnes & Noble, it's just going to be loose booster packs sitting on one of those, like, pegboard thingamabobs.
So what if you just buy I'll buy this box. Wait, can you bring another box out? Buy this box. can you bring it?
But again, your Barnes & Noble, they could let it happen.
Whatever they wanted, yeah.
We didn't really discuss this recently. I know we're getting to the end of our hour, but, like, also, I mean, knowing that, like, there's not going to be. We've confirmed now. There's not full art collectors, whatever. There's not full art cards coming out, right?
We don't know that. We don't know that.
Do we not know that?
We don't know that.
There's no full art.
Yeah. Well, I mean, why are you?
Darn it!
Sorry.
Right. We know that, right? I think we.
Well, I guess we know that now.
Hashtag full art Buzz Lightyear.
So I mean, really, we're talking about.
The
collector part of it is like getting your foil cards, right? Which is still, I mean, there's a collector part there, but I wonder that if that's going to reduce some of that, like trying to buy whole cases for like, you know what I'm saying? For like the special Marvel card from Flesh and Blood or the special, like, you don't have that, right?
Right.
So,
right.
Anyways.
I think Disney be Disney.
Yeah, Disney be Disney. I mean, we are hitting that hour, so we'll wrap it up. But I think now's a really good time to kind of pitch it back to Eric, because you've got a lot of knowledge on the subject. You've seen some of the inner workings of Ravensburger. We're not going to ask for like insider information, but I think it would be a really great way to end this episode because of this topic, and share your thoughts about how the game is going to, how this purchasability game is going to change once September 1st hits. Because in my mind, although it might stink for some FLGS stores to have limited product compared to Walmart, Target, GameStop, the fact that it's going to be so, or at least trying to be so readily available to the mass market, I think means that people who want to play it should be able to play it easily. Now, that is not the same as having a full collection, but if you want to get a starter deck, you should be able to get a starter deck. If you want to get one or two boosters or a one trove, should be pretty reliable, but not necessarily like, I want to buy 500 booster boxes. Like, I don't think so. But like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm very confident that the things that you just mentioned, the starter decks, and even for LGS, I think you're going to have not a very hard time, especially if you're willing to go to an organized play event, which you should. Like, if you're interested in this game, you should be going to events at your store and like being part of the community, making friends. It's the best way to play this game. So getting stuff like starter decks, it's not going to be a problem. You're going to end up with a lot of starter decks. You know, that's good. You're going to get a full play set of stuff. You're going to get the packs they come with too, but you're going to be able to get starter decks. The treasure troves and stuff like that. Yeah, the big box stores are going to have that. And here's the thing. People keep, every time I say the big box stores are going to solve this problem, people say, well, they're not going to have booster boxes. And that's true. But if the per pack price at MSRP is half what these stores and online are selling for these booster boxes. It's a no-brainer, man. They're going to be $6 a pack at Target and Walmart and Barnes & Noble and everywhere. And if you can buy 24 packs for $144, there's no reason to spend $300 on a booster box. It makes no sense.
Well,
Even if they're not seeded the same.
Well, unless the booster boxes have like some sort of like guarantee to get a hit in the box.
Sure, but you could buy 48 booster packs, single booster packs for the same price.
Or you could buy 3 treasure troves for $150. So you're only paying an extra $6 for the exact same amount of packs.
Yeah. And you're right. Like we know the booster boxes in other games, and it's probably the same for the Lorcana. They usually have a specific number of, legendaries or whatever. And and you're not going to get that when you buy single packs. But if the price is that different, then you can just buy so many more packs. It evens out.
Right.
And so it's just naturally going to drop the price at your local game stores. And there's more waves. Like the August 18th is not the only time your local store is going to get product. So please don't panic. Don't spend $300 on a box, man.
No. Yeah.
The thing is, like, people want to get mad at stores. They want to get mad at scalpers. I hate scalpers just as much as everyone else. But just don't buy it.
Right.
If you don't buy it, they can't sell it at that price. That's all there is to it.
Stay strong. Stay strong. Hold the line.
Well, it's even more awkward because there's a website. I can't remember. They did an article about, like, we don't like scalpers, we don't like high prices, and they're selling booster boxes right now for $350. But then they're also selling a second wave on September 1st for $144.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Why would I not just wait 2 weeks to save 55%?
Exactly.
I don't get it.
Because
also,
those sold out, because the 350s sold out.
What? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So so of course they're selling it for $350. They sold every single one of them. Don't do that.
Why? Why would you? I don't even know. Yeah.
And the best thing Lorcana could do, and I hope they do it, is like not make this first release special in any way. Of course, people are going to say, "Oh, the boxes are better." Whatever. I mean, that's what you're going to say if you're trying to sell your boxes, right?
No, I doubt it.
I'm just saying,
I'm a player. I'm not a collector. I don't care about flipping. I just want cards to play with.
Right. Exactly. I mean, that's when those get less valuable, like Eric's saying. When the market gets, we have more, and when people realize you shouldn't be paying that much for it, then all that will tank, which is great because then the players get the cards.
I mean, we've been saying that since day one. The big box stores are going to help even out the price point.
Yeah.
We should all FaceTime each other on September 1st.
Again,
into a Target.
Again, when you can. I mean, and I still, our podcast, supports local game stores. So when it makes sense and when you can.
Not if they're charging.
No, exactly. That would be my second part. Like, you shouldn't. You should get it close to MSRP, right? Like you should get it close to that. What is it, 150 mark?
144.
144 for a box. So like that should be what your aim is, and maybe a little bit more, for the overhead cost, whatever. But like, no, do not pay $300 for a box. That we do not support that.
No. And I also think it's okay to pay higher than MSRP for your local store if you're part of the community. If they're if they're like supporting you by giving you a space to play, like I think it's good. I think you should pay a little bit more for what your store offers, because Target ain't gonna let you play there. They don't know. They can't help you build a deck. They don't have singles for you.
But not 50% more.
I'm gonna go ask the cashier, ma'am. Where's your break room?
Would you put this in your Ruby deck to steal some lore, or would you do this in your
wearing your Ruby shirt? I thought you'd be prepared to play today.
Oh my gosh, you could go play in the food court.
Start asking the Target manager about Floodborne.
Yep. There's a flood down aisle. What?
So would Walmart be the Sapphire experts? You'd be like, hey, how does this aerial work here?
Yeah, dude, they got so many items.
Let it go.
Okay. We derailed the show.
Let this go.
Yeah, we gotta get out of here. Eric, thank you for coming on. We love having you. Please tell everyone again, where can they find you and the content that you are creating that is so awesome?
Thank you so much. Find us at TheGamer. Lorcana Week is wrapped up, but if you search Lorcana Week, there's a hub that has all 80 plus articles that we publish. So if there's some you want to get caught up on, it's all there. And you can follow me on the website formerly known as Twitter at Epic Schweitzer.
Nice. What are we calling Twitter now? Are we just calling it X, or I'm going to call it Twitter? I don't know what to do with that.
It's dumb.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next time on LorcanaCast.